Hey, fellow babies, welcome to Ukraine Update on the Shills. We've got myself, Dick Dawson. We've got our Commander 401, Claire Bear, David Worley, and of course, Operator Starsky, who's going to get us a little bit caught up before we, get to a regular, more Shills banter type setup. So, Operator Starsky, why don't you come on in and give us a little bit of what everybody's looking for here, the Starsky way.
Hi, buddy. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Operator Starsky here with a new update from Ukraine. And this week it was tough, as you know. To me, it's wait a minute. It's like 350 something of February 2022 still. So in Bakhmut and Soledar, we've had the most action going this week. And as for Bakhmut, the situation is basically the same. I cannot say that it was much easier this week, but I can say it was because Russians relocated most of their most professional troops to the area of Soledar and concentrated their biggest efforts on taking that city or town. It's like a small town, the size of, I would say, Severodonetsk, even smaller. But anyways, and in Soledar, we had most of the action this week. Currently, the situation looks like this. 2 weeks ago, Prigozhin, that famous Russian thug and chief of Wagner Group, so-called, started saying that his troops took control over Soledar. I think they were saying the same about Bakhmut a couple of months ago and yada yada, but we know that it's not true. And they have this thing of, like pushing the things. It's like when they say, oh, Ukraine lost the war. But they still have to kind of do something to finish it, and they cannot. And the same thing with Soledar, basically. So they created this huge informational hype around Soledar, and the reason why they're doing this is, first of all, they will try to attack our forces that defend Bakhmut from the flank, which I don't think is really possible at this point, but their main goal is to take at least Soledar and turn it into hugest and biggest victory in the world. It, like, they dream of taking Soledar because Soledar is the most important place in our galaxy. And if they take Soledar, they can present it as the biggest strategic victory of Russian troops ever made.
Wow.
As if they won the World War III. I gotta say that they were struggling over not around Soledar, but around this general area of Bakhmut for already 9 years, probably. And this battle of Soledar is very, very important for Prigozhin himself, because he's trying to prove that his Wagnerites worth something, and for Putin, because Putin needs at least some victory to show to his citizens. And if it happens, it will be all over the news. It will be like, I don't know, it will be like they defeated NATO in Soledar. So Russians trying to pump up this hype in the media, and some of the, again, like we all know that they produce a lot of bullshit because it's the only thing they can produce. But because this is repeated consistently, and I think I just lost my electricity anyways, because they do it consistently, a lot of people started believing in this, and some of the news in the mainstream media probably were not understood properly, because situation in Soledar is absolutely the same as it was yesterday. The western part of Soledar is still controlled by Ukrainian troops. Doesn't mean that Russians took control over Soledar. It means that strategically the mine is under Ukrainian control. There's Ukrainian flag, and this photo of Ukrainian flag installed on the mine was all over Ukrainian media today, all over Ukrainian Telegram channels, and claiming that Russians control Soledar is the same as claiming that Russians were controlling Kiev in March, because Kiev Oblast was full of Russians and Kiev was surrounded by Russians. It kind of doesn't make sense. So that's what I wanted to say, because this hype was very, very strong yesterday. It was so strong, so Ukrainian defenders made a message. They recorded a video. One of our, let's say, speakers from Soledar, the call sign Madyar, made this record for Ukrainians specifically, because again, some Ukrainian media already started reposting Russian publics, Russian news, and you do not do that. Saying that Ukrainian defenders were pushed out of Soledar and things like that. And he said, guys, what you are doing now doesn't help. The only thing it does, it's demoralizing Ukrainian troops that are still fighting in Soledar. So please stop doing that, stop spreading bullshit, and just let us do our job. So that's regarding the situation in Soledar. Yeah, it looks bad, but it's not like it's surrounded by Russians. The fight continues in the Soledar's, like, down. It's too small to call it downtown, but let's pretend that there is a downtown. So the battle continues there and around Soledar, and we have plenty of our artillery that is active 24/7, and basically Russians lose a lot of their troops in the contact combat on the streets and around Soledar as well. So that's the situation. Another thing, today we had 2 missile strikes. It started early in the morning. Personally, I've heard something like 3, maybe 4 explosions. And after a while, there were some more explosions. And then we had our air alert. And obviously, Russians used either ballistic missiles or S-300, maybe S-400 missiles that were launched at Kiev from the territory of Belarus. That's one probability, because according to spokesman for the Ukrainian Air Force, it's very hard to spot such missiles. That's why we weren't alerted earlier, because those missiles were they had ballistic trajectory. So then we've had air alert. There was first missile strike launched against our anti-air defenses. First wave is usually aimed at Ukrainian anti-air defenses, and then I think in maybe in 2 hours we've had another missile strike. This time Russians launched their missiles from the Black Sea, and their strategic aviation was also active. So in total, we intercepted 25 missiles out of 38. Unfortunately, again, some of our energy infrastructure was damaged. And unfortunately, we lost some people today. There were strikes reported in the area of Kiev, Vinnytsia, Kryvyi Rih, Khmelnytsky, Ivano-Frankivsk, and Dnipro and Kharkiv. In Dnipro, one of Russian cruise missiles hit a residential building. It was a direct hit. I can say that in Russian media, again, they started saying bullshit, saying that there were multiple versions. One of those versions was that Ukrainian anti-air defense specifically hit this missile at a trajectory that made it possible for it to strike this building and blame Russians for being fascists. Another version was, I don't know, Ukrainian magicians influenced this missile, and changed the trajectory.
What?
And shit like that. But nevertheless, Russians were very happy today. They celebrated because
That's disgusting.
a lot of Ukrainians died. They do it all the time. I have you're very lucky that you don't read Orcish language, because I have a handful of screenshots from Russian Telegram channels where they're so happy.
That's disgusting.
They finally punished those Ukrainians who killed their precious invaders, their soldiers. And they were celebrating. Again, when Russians say that, like any version, it was Ukrainian missile, it was Ukrainian anti-air missile, it was Ukrainian ballistic missile brought by NATO, it was Russian missile influenced by other, third parties. Every time they say such bullshit, I usually recall what they said about MH17, all those versions, about Ukrainian pilots who shot down Malaysian Boeing, about Ukrainian anti-air system that shot down Malaysian Boeing, about aliens who destroyed Malaysian Boeing, and things like that. But in the end, we know the answer, and we know people responsible for doing that, and those people have Russian citizenship. Same thing here. As for the number of victims, the excavation still continues. It will be continuing throughout the night. The most recent news that we had was that 60 people were found wounded. There are dead people. Unfortunately, the number will be published tomorrow, obviously, because we keep finding bodies. around 60 people were found alive. They were wounded, and among those 60 people, there were 12 kids. The youngest one was a 3-year-old girl, and yeah, unfortunately, we still keep finding.
Nasty.
We still keep finding dead people. So that's the consequence of their strike. There was some funny news, of course. Today, Russian public Telegram channel published a picture from Kiev, specifically Kiev railway station, and smoke over this area. And they were happy because look, Kiev is burning. Oh my God!
Wow.
And they were saying that Ukrainian Kiev railway station was hit. And what those imbeciles didn't know was that we had this steam train parked on this railway station. We had a steam train that was launched prior to Christmas, and it's like a touring train. We have this big museum of old trains, specifically at this railway station, Central Railway in Kiev, and of course there is this steam train that produced all that steam. But because they are so stupid, they didn't know this fact. Anyways, so those are the news.
That's a lot of depth in the news.
Very
man.
heavy.
Yeah.
Heavy stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Commander McMillan from In Time there, he's not going to be able to make it by today, but he did want me to field a question over to you, Starsky, before we get into some viewer questions and comments. And we got a couple of donation shout outs here for Claire in a sec, but he was asking, with the fall of Soledar imminent, if it hasn't happened already. I think this was written like yesterday, so unsure. And the fact that we'll put Bakhmut under further threat of encirclement, do you think that the Ukrainian defenders may need to withdraw from the city, or that Ukrainian army will have a mounted counterattack to restore the situation there? I just thought with all that just came up, that's the right time for this question, right?
Yes. If we had enough armored vehicles to perform this counterattack, it would be great. Unfortunately, we were given those, we were promised those vehicles almost 1 year after the beginning of this invasion. That's why I don't think it will be possible, but we will see.
Yeah.
Another thing is that I think that my God, I'm a bit sorry. I'm a bit sleepy tonight.
No worries, buddy.
So another thing is that I'm sure if the situation will require this, of course, we will withdraw our troops like we did in Rubizhne and Severodonetsk, because in those areas, first of all, nothing left to defend, literally. Those places were completely destroyed by Russian artillery and Russian missiles. So if the situation repeats, I'm sure that it's possible that we will withdraw our troops to save the lives of the personnel.
Okay, well, I think that's definitely the answer he was looking for there. So I'm going to go over to Claire for a couple of shout outs we've got, and we'll be all caught up and get some viewer stuff in.
Okay. From Sam. This is all I can do until February. Sorry. It's a struggle to sit here, watch those who have the power to help, End genocide. Just sitting and watching. Wouldn't want Russia to escalate and drop a warhead on innocent civilians or anything, though, right? Thank you, Sam. From Braven 7. RF will not achieve its main aims ever in Ukraine. Our thoughts are with the civilians today and the brave Ukrainians. UK sending Challenger 2. Let's see the gates open now on everything in a couple of hots. Thank you, Raven 7. From Aussie, Starsky. In what direction from Soledar is Wagner likely to move, if they can move out from there at all? In other words, is the goal still to move south to Bakhmut, or will they push north?
There are two possibilities. First possibility is that they will try to outflank our personnel in Bakhmut and will try to move south. Simultaneously, from south, another portion of Russian troops will try to move towards Chervona Hora, and they will try to encircle our troops there. One possibility. Another possibility is that they will try to move north and simultaneously attack from Belarus and penetrate deep into Sumy and close the circle around Kharkiv and Luhansk regions, but it's unlikely because currently we don't see enough troops located in Belarus to make it possible. So, in my opinion, they will rather move south.
Okay, all right. And from Crisol, donated 727 on no message, but if you do have one, please put it in the chat and we'll read it next time for you. Thank you. All caught up,
Awesome.
Dick.
Cool. Thanks, everybody. Big thanks. We'll make sure it gets put to very good use as well. I wonder if David Worley is ready and we could check in with some viewer questions, comments, and so on.
Absolutely, sure thing. It sounds like a pretty rough week out there. Obviously, there's a lot of love in the comments for you. Maggie was the first to ask a question tonight. Can someone tell me about RT and Russia government thing happening? I don't know if there's a thing happening or whether they just still exist. Is there a thing?
Russia Today?
Yeah, I can't see anything about it.
I didn't see any news regarding Russia Today.
No, I didn't either. That's okay. I wasn't sure if you knew. CF, or not, rather not CF Beauty. Mark has asked, are the numbers of machine guns corresponding and corresponding ammunition supplies sufficient for the upcoming human wave tactics the Orcs will begin soon?
I'm not sure about specifically their machine guns, but they have plenty of weapons. Some of those weapons are very, very old, like those Mosin rifles, and still they don't care much. They will use whatever they have and arm their orcs with whatever they have.
As we just confirmed as well, multiple reports saying UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has confirmed UK will send the Challenger 2 tanks to Ukraine. I don't particularly know anything about the specifics of military hardware, so I'm going to just call it by the number of wheels it has. So it's a 12-wheeler. Must be good. Is there anything specific about the Challenger 2 that's any different from anything we've sent before?
It's a very good tank. It's not really new, but Abrams is also not really new. It wasn't made like last year, but it's still superior to everything Russia has. It has a great armor. It has great protection for personnel, for the crew. And of course, it will be a huge improvement for Ukrainian armed forces, because we need, as you know, we need those tanks.
Sticking to the theme of Arsenal, not the football club, obviously. A Heartify has asked, has Russia been using ballistic missiles? This is unclear.
Yeah, so either they used ballistic missiles like Iskanders, or they used S-300, maybe S-400, that were launched at ballistic trajectory. It happened for the first time. I mean, for the first time, they used those missiles to strike Kiev, and judging from their range, obviously they were launched from the territory of Belarus. And basically, that's one of the reasons why Russians pumped Belarus with S-300 missiles. We saw a lot of them that were located in Mozyr, in Gomel, in that area.
Almost using Belarus as a bit of a shield.
Yeah, we all know that. I mean, everybody knows that Belarus is their ally in this war.
Indeed. Indeed. Commander 401 was looking to get in there. Commander.
I've been thinking the Wankers, probably Wagner. That's a German name. Does Wagner Group have any connection to Hitler?
Yes, they have direct connection to Hitler, because they're Nazi, and they're trying to eliminate Ukrainians the same way Nazi tried to do with Jewish people.
I mean, the name Wagner, I think it might be Hitler's favorite composer.
Yeah, and Prigozhin is Putin's favorite chief. So
Peas in a pod.
yeah.
Definitely. Let's see here. I think we have a couple more questions there from Dave, and then there was a couple of submissions from people that I got to bring up as well. So we'll go to Dave here first for a couple of viewer things.
Yeah, there was an interesting point that's being made by a new member, Brandy Robertson. Hello to you. Very welcome. I've read Canada has 50 plus Leopard 1 tanks on ice. Is it worth us harassing our PM to send, or are they too old to help?
As a Canadian, I wish I knew the answer, but I'm not very familiar with the
Leopard 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not really familiar either, but I think that they would be useful to Ukraine as well. Guys, we have so little tanks that anything will do. Specifically NATO tanks, because they are still superior to Russian tanks developed in 60s and 70s.
Right.
And as
Leopard
such,
1 was
it's worth writing to your local
1965.
official. Sorry there, 401.
A Leopard 1 entered service 1965, so it's probably better than the tanks from the 60s the Russians are using.
Yeah, it does
absolutely.
sound like there's some updates and stuff as well here. I can bring this up and give everybody a little picture here. Oh, come on, get that crap out of the way, will you? What just happened? How? Okay. It's just one of those sites. There's nothing I can do, but there you go. There's a pic of it. Dear Lord, I picked the wrong one, right? You know, okay. But yeah, I do think it's worth hassling. And I say that every show, so I'll be on it right away. Absolutely. Absolutely.
We've got another one here from Cheryl, who I always see in the live chat. Hello to you. Was the rear guard finally able to escape Soledar?
Can you repeat that, please?
Sure thing. Was the rear guard finally able to escape Soledar?
What's the
rear guard? So I guess the last line of defense, I guess.
I don't know about the last line of defense escaping Soledar, because no such reports were made officially by neither by a spokesman of the operative group South nor by our general staff.
That's fine. There was another question I'm reluctant to ask. I'll ask Dick first because it's a question that asks about strategy, and I'm not entirely sure that we are advised to do that.
Well, the question can be asked, but we give no guarantee that Starsky's going to give an answer because there are limits and they just can't be crossed. That's all there is to it, right?
Yep. So I guess there is also a degree of personal opinion to the question. So Charles has asked, what do you think is the best strategy for towns like Soledar and Mariupol? Retreat and save more lives, or defend the towns and lose more soldiers? What is your idea? Of course, you don't have to answer.
Oh my God. How about defend the city and make enemy lose more soldiers? Because
I
that's
like that one.
exactly
Correct.
that's exactly what we did in Rubizhny Severodonetsk. Guys, in Rubizhny and Severodonetsk, my brigade held defense for 4 months. We lost 49 men, and we had plenty of wounded guys, but 49 men in 4 months were our biggest loss in this war so far. Russians lost in contact combat, and there were wankers, of course, but there were also those Kadyrovites and people mobilized on the occupied territories in Donetsk and Luhansk. So in contact combat with our troops, from our reports, from the reports of the squad commanders and platoon commanders, Russians lost 1,000 men dead in contact combat, in street combat, and many more were lost due to our artillery fire, which again wasn't even very intense that period because we lacked artillery shells, and the number of Russian artillery systems was around 17 times bigger than in Ukrainian armed forces. So that's one of the tactics. Doesn't mean that we will lose more people while defending defending the town. We can move out slowly, inflicting as much casualties to enemy as possible. And in Rubizhny and Severodonetsk it worked. When we retreated, of course, almost nothing left from those towns because they were again destroyed almost completely, but Russians lost a lot of their personnel there. It was like hell. And same thing is happening at this point in Bakhmut and Soledar.
Soledar had a pre-war population of 10,490 people at the start of the year. To give context of the size of the settlement.
Yeah, and in case Soledar falls, again, it will be the biggest victory in the world. Russians will celebrate on streets. Victory over the whole NATO bloc. Victory over the Western civilization. So you can trust me. The same thing was like we saw exactly that in Rubizhne, basically. When Kadyrovites entered Rubizhne, we moved back, and they moved into Rubizhne. It was like the biggest military achievement for the human race.
Yeah, the original question was a bit of a false dichotomy, but I think we've got quite a few supers, don't we?
Yeah, we do have a few shouts for Claire, and I'm sure she's probably ready, but muted in Google Meets and doesn't know it at the moment. The animated avatar is great, as you can tell.
Yeah, it's definitely moving.
Oh,
Maybe she's just going out and back in again. She just disappeared on our screen. Yeah.
She got upset and quit.
That's it. Claire's gone. Yeah, we need a new bear. We'll be taking auditions this week for a new teddy bear. Your name doesn't have to be Claire, but you do have to be a bear. Oh, we got ours back. Never mind. Okay.
No need for a secondary bear. It was just my internet. I apologize. We have a backup bear? I didn't know we had a backup bear. We have a backup bear?
Well, my son was ready to lend one just in case.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I think you wanted to do super chats. Is that it? Yes.
Sure.
Okay. From our prior mention of Crystal, they sent the message through to say thank you to everyone for what they're doing for Ukraine. So thank you, Crystal. And then from Silver Earth, we have $5 donation with the message sending you a friendly virtual hug. You look like you need one. And I am sorry you've had a rough one today, Starsky.
Oh. Thank you so much.
Nice shout, Silver.
Yes, very, very nice. From level 70, hi Starsky. What is the situation in Crimea currently?
We know about some cotton that happened a couple of days ago in, I think it was in Yevpatoria and Gvardeyska. Russians keep smoking, and smoke kills. Smoke kills normal people, and it blows up Russians. Yeah. So that's the situation. They finally. How much time passed since that explosion on the carriage bridge? Like 3 months?
I think that was September.
Yeah.
Something like that. So they finally changed the asphalt and installed new sections of that bridge. It took just 3 months.
Wow. Wow.
It's a big achievement because Russia is so mighty.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, holy. That's quick. There was a report today, Starsky. The UK has committed to sending Challenger 2 tanks, and it says they're going farther than the Biden administration. So unfortunately, scrolling through, I can't get a number on how many you're going over.
I don't remember the exact number, but it's more than 2, less than 10, I think.
They're a pretty good piece of kit, aren't they? Like they're a good one, aren't they?
Yeah, they're not bad. But again, we will see how many of them will be delivered to Ukraine, because I don't want to be pessimistic, but it's very easy to play this.
Get the headlines for 3 instead of 30.
Yeah, it's very easy to play this support Ukraine game and send 2 tanks and say, look, you have tanks. So we will see how many of them will be delivered to Ukraine. We celebrate every time when we receive some anti-air system from our partners, 1 or 2, but there are 25 major cities in Ukraine, big cities.
Right.
and well, 3 of them are occupied, but you understand what I'm talking about. And those cities need protection as well. And single system unlikely can protect 2, 3, 5 cities at a time, especially when Russians launch multiple missiles, like 70 missiles at all the cities. So we need at least 25, and we needed them last year, basically.
Right. Yeah, long back. There was one other one that somebody had sent in that I wanted to check here. Why can't I find it right now? I hate when I stumble like that. I accidentally closed the browser, and it's doing that thing where, you know, close the recently done tabs, but the browser's acting funny. And since we're like live, I don't want to reopen it and, you know, maybe kill meats or anything. It's one of those precarious moments, right? So I think I'll just stumble past what I was going to try to bring up, and we'll probably head back over to Dave to see what the viewers would like to bring into the situation, and I can regroup and reshuffle in the background for a second.
I can bail you out, don't worry. There's so many great questions coming in, so just keep tagging the Shills, and we'll try and get some of the best ones asked. Like this one from Manu: can you confirm the news that rockets flew from Luca's potato country?
Obviously they could, because the range of S-300 is around 70 kilometers, I think, and the only place they could be launched from is basically the potato head country.
There's a couple more questions on Germany as well. So there was one originally, I'll go find that in a second, but this one from Swamp Fox: how to explain Germany's reticence in supplying weapons, tanks, etc., especially after its energy and, wait for it, Ostpolitik policies encouraged or emboldened Russia to invade and attack Ukraine.
It's because of those politicians that, you know, don't show enough, I would say, courage is the word, probably. And it's not only about Germany. There are plenty of maybe not pro-Russian, but still coward-ish politicians that still don't understand that they are dealing with terrorists, and you cannot have peaceful negotiations or, I don't know, peaceful discussion with terrorists who want to kill you, because what kind of consensus are we talking about, right? So they are not decisive enough. And that's the answer. It's not only about German politicians. It's about different people in different countries. We see the same picture. I'm not even mentioning Hungary, where Mr. Orban said that West started this war. Western countries
Really?
invaded Russia, or what? And he said that his opinion is that they should, you know, have partnership with enemies of, you know, with enemies of the West. They must be in good relations with those people, but West does everything to, you know, destroy this partnership. So there are different opinions in different countries. Luckily, it's a bit different in the US. Even even Republicans, a lot of them support Ukraine. So, for example, and I had those news here somewhere, I think. I hope I didn't lose them. Crap, I think. Here it is. So, four main committee. How do you call this? How do you pronounce this word?
Committee?
Committee.
Committee, yeah. So, four key committees in the Congress of the USA were led by Republicans that were big allies of Ukraine, like Mike Rogers, like Michael McCall, like Kay Granger, and Mike Turner. All of those people were supporting Ukraine. They were calling for supporting our country with weapons and helping us protect from Russian aggression and things like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think there are three main movements, right, in the Republican Party. There are
There's
Reagan.
the batshit, there's the Reagan, and then I think there's basically two. And the libertarians are sometimes crazy and sometimes sane.
Yeah, something like that. So again, decent people make majority of those guys. Luckily for us, and yeah, and returning to your question regarding Germany, there are a lot of things that we have to ask Mrs. Merkel, because currently we have a lot of those scandals with Russian spies that are being constantly arrested in Germany for espionage, and those were brought there during the period of Mrs. Merkel ruling the Germany. Again, there's a huge difference, and it's not a secret to anybody. There's a huge difference between politicians and just common people, right? And we know that in majority of cases, politicians don't, for some reason, because it shouldn't be this way, but they don't represent the real will of people. For some reason, probably they think that they know better, or they know what's better for the country or whatever. But when things like war in Ukraine happen, and they have to react because their country can be next, right? But they're either too afraid, or they have some connections in Russia, for example. And things like that. I receive plenty of commentaries from people living in Serbia, in Iran, by the way, in Russia also, in Hungary. Those are supportive commentaries, and those people say, guys, we don't support what happens. We support Ukraine. There's a lot of decent people, and it doesn't mean, when German government is reluctant, right, of sending weapons to Ukraine. It doesn't mean that all the Germans think so.
Right. Very much so. Speaking of which, there's a report that Poland is sending a company of Leopard tanks over. Warsaw has decided that they are going to be stepping into a more leading role. And in the report, it says a company typically consists of 14 tanks. So by the sounds of it, Poland is just committed to 14 Leopards heading your way. Let's hope it's like right away and not, lost in the red tape of bullshit.
Because Polish are absolutely amazing people.
They
That's all I
are.
can say.
Yeah. It's those words have come out of your mouth more than once on this show. Your admiration and respect for everybody in Poland has been duly noted.
Polish people are really tough, I can say. And I can also say, because we had mutual training with Polish militaries in 2018, I think. Yeah, we were showing them one of our BTRs. They were really interested, and because I talked to them, I can tell you this: if Poland enters this war, Russia is fucked completely. So Polish people are very, very tough, and they, because they already had, by the way, they had this experience of burning down Moscow.
Yeah.
I think they can repeat that anytime.
There was there's a comment here from Simon Shorthouse in the chat. Member as well. Thanks, Simon. Poland cannot send those tanks unless Germany signs an export license, which they are delaying. Yeah, so that goes exactly back to what you were just saying there, Starsky. Exactly.
Well, that just means that we have to actually put more pressure on our own countries and our representatives to continue support for weaponry, and for what is needed for Ukraine to continue their fight. There seems to be, with the progress that was made, people just back off a little. It's like been going on a while, so people think, like Sam said, we're all watching and saying how horrible it is, but we need to speak louder to the people that can make a difference. Make sure support's getting there, because they need what they need to continue the fight. You can't do it with just their will, although the Ukrainian people have great, strong will, and they're not going to give up. They need the help to do it. We have to make sure they get it. It takes too long, which is why we cannot be quiet. We can't sit on our butts and think, okay, it's being taken care of. It's not. It takes too long to get there. We got to keep saying it now. So 6 months from now, if they need it, they get it. I can't stress that enough. We can't back off. We can't. You don't see Ukraine backing off, right, Starsky? Why would we not raise our voices in support every day? Every day.
Well said, Bear. Well said. Are we caught up when it comes to shout outs and whatnot? Oh no, we do have one. Yep.
I do. From Mr. E-Man. He says, I hope that the resolve of the West to support Ukraine is as strong as the will of the Ukraine people to liberate their country. Exactly. Yes. We got to keep it up. And thank you, Mr. E-Man. And especially in support for what they need. In regards to weaponry, it needs to happen.
Yeah, very much. Instinct tells me that Starsky would probably like to keep this to about a 90-minute show today. We don't want to keep them up too late today, I don't think. So we've got a couple of questions, and I know Claire's got a couple that she wants to get to. So
I do. And after such a serious statement, like I just have to bring forth some of the lighter things that people would want to know. And because it's winter, we have two questions here for you, Starsky. The first one is from Beauty Clan, who asks, Starsky, have you replaced the hot water pot the invaders damaged at the post? And I'm enjoying posts in the recent days that you have about Ukraine.
Thank you so much. So the answer is I don't have my office anymore because first it was turned into a Russian outhouse,
Mhm.
and they wrote a lot of messages where I was sitting.
Mhm.
So like behind my workplace, they left a lot of messages on the wall directed towards me. My office was turned into a Russian toilet, and then it was damaged real bad.
Mhm.
So I don't have an office anymore. I have this bunker, this beautiful sauna. So this is basically my workplace, and I have 2 teapots now. I have electric one, and when I don't have power, I use just an ordinary one.
Mhm. Oh, well, on that line, now these are really personal. I hope you're ready. What they want to know, what your favorite hot drinks are to keep you warm, your favorite tea, how you take your coffee. Sounds like they're planning on visiting, which is nice. But if you'd like to expand on that.
What was that an answer from Mrs. Starsky?
No, it
So
was it was from our mod rodent, no last name actually. So
what I do is I make coffee with huge amount of milk and like 3-4 spoons of sugar. I remember like I argued a lot with my ex because she was like a snob regarding coffee. She always liked this Arabica. She couldn't drink bad coffee. She liked Arabica, some specific stuff, and it must have been prepared in a proper way, and yada yada, and have some exact temperature. And I was always arguing with her, like, what, uh, like, does it matter what kind of coffee you have if you have like 5 spoons of sugar in it?
Mhm.
I do that all the time, you know. I have coffee with milk and a lot of sugar. And there's another way of preparing milk that I like very much. Milk, coffee, basically milk, because it's like coffee without water, only with milk. So basically, you just grab a glass of milk, heat
Yeah.
it up, throw coffee into milk and a
Mhm.
lot of sugar, and it tastes fantastic. You gotta try it.
Yeah, it's like coffee milk. It's like an extreme latte here, That I would like that actually. I'm all
Yeah,
about the
something like
Sounds
that.
coffee.
lovely.
Yeah.
Tastes like hot ice cream or something like that.
Well, now you got me. Now I'm sold. All you have to say is ice cream. It did like hot ice cream? Like that's not. I'm gonna do it tonight. One more from a member shout out from the chat from our own Charlie Welch, Shill Apprentice for 16 months. He says, "Get some damn rest and stay safe, Starsky." Okay, that's from him. I don't talk like that to you, but yeah, get some rest. Okay,
Thank you
back
so
to you
much.
guys.
Sometimes I think that I have too much rest, actually. Yeah, yesterday I was staying up until mm, like 8, 9 p.m. Exactly the time I decided to go to sleep. I had like this big and strong ache in my
Mhm.
teeth, and I had an appointment at the dentist today, but today we had 2 missile strikes, so yeah, I didn't manage to visit him. But the pain was so bad, so in the middle of the night I decided to go all the way to Kiev uh, and bring my yoke all the way back to Hostomel and play Microsoft Flight Simulator until I just fell asleep.
Oh,
Yeah.
that kind of answers the question I was going to ask you on balance with everything, how you're finding taking the best care of yourself with your desire to do everything you can in regards to Ukraine and what you can do. But I'm glad to see that you do take time to play Flight Simulator. That answers the question for me, that you are taking care of yourself so you can do the best for everyone.
I burned 3 liters of gasoline in my generator in order to do that.
Okay. Okay, good.
But there are 3 things that bring me joy. It's good food, of course,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a matter of stress relief, basically, and bodybuilding and coffee and boxing and coffee, of course.
Cool.
Yeah, it's good. They're all taking care of yourself, which is important. So good to hear. Very good to hear. Back to you, Dick.
All righty. Well, we're in a caught up mode. And so I think we'll go back over to Dave for a couple of the questions that he has lined up and ready. We're getting a lovely balance out of this. It's great.
Sure. So there's quite a few things that I just wanted to clear up. There's a quote here in the Telegraph. Cold War never ended, says Angela Merkel, as she admits Germany should have spent more on defense. There's another one in Politico saying Poland can send Leopard tanks to Ukraine, German Vice Chancellor says. And then another where it says Germany's defense minister poised to step down after a series of errors. That's in the Financial Times. That links into a question from Lirandra. There are rumors Germany's defense minister finally resigned. So I guess Leopards are now a possibility. She was horrible. I guess that's not really a question.
Oh, I hope so. I really hope that's accurate.
Yep, it's being reported in Politico as well. Amidst PR disaster. So it all depends on who replaces them, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. I also have 2 reports. The General Staff of Ukraine reports that Russians continue their attack in Soledar. Ukrainian armed forces continue fighting back. The invaders have plenty of casualties, and also Russians tried to attack in the area of Limanske, Avdiivske, and Novopavlivske. And in Zaporizhia and Kherson region, they are mostly performing their defensive operations. Also, we have a report that the number of dead civilians in Dnipro rises to 9 people, and among them is a 15-year-old girl.
Wow.
That is distressing to hear.
That takes a minute to process. Holy shit, man.
Yeah.
There's this contest, the like Miss Universe, something like that.
A beauty contest, you mean?
Yeah. There's this beauty contest, and people who organize this contest, they do everything they can in order to put Ukrainian and Russian representatives together. So recently they were making a picture of all of the representatives, and this Russian girl was put next to Ukrainian girl, and Ukrainian passed her like 2 places, and she moved to another place, switched places with I think Colombian representative. It's so it's like, some people have this illusion that Ukraine and Russia should just become friends again. It's so
That's
easy.
impossible now.
It's like, people wake up in their warm place, right? In their warm house. They make coffee because they have electricity. They shouldn't worry about missile strikes. They have absolutely peaceful and normal life, and then they read those horrible news from Ukraine, and they think, why can't they just be friends? Like, why can't they just talk? And it's it's so it makes me so sad that people just don't see the reality, right? Because for example, this Russian contestant, she was asked in the interview, I think yesterday, during her press conference, what does she think about Ukraine? And her answer was, I only think the best about Ukraine. Who the fuck cares what she thinks about Ukraine?
Doubt.
Who the fuck cares what Russians think about Ukraine? Her answer was supposed to be different. She supposed to say, what I think about Ukraine is that we did some fucking despicable thing to those people. That was supposed to be her answer. And when people say that there are different people in Russia, you shouldn't blame all Russians and things like that. It's like, why are you attacking all of the Russian people? We are not all bad.
Right.
Nobody fucking cares if you are all bad or not. You're not supposed to say that. What you are supposed to say is that, yes, we fucked up, but we are sorry. That must be the answer. Ukrainians will not accept any other answer, and Ukrainians don't fucking care what Russians think about Ukraine, whether they think that Ukrainians were artificially created by Poles
Exactly.
and Americans,
Eh,
or they think something opposite, that Ukrainians are beautiful people. Nobody fucking cares.
Exactly.
They fucked up, and they are fucking terrorists. That's what's
Exactly.
Exactly. They're attacking the people. When they attack the electricity, they're hitting civilian locations more often than not, targeting the actual people instead of, like,
Yes,
how
it's
you
very easy.
disregard that a 15-year-old is dead, like the young
Oh.
people are dead. How she can just ignore that coming from that country, pretending to be a beauty queen with a humanitarian interest. It's hypocrisy at its best.
Absolutely. Like, it's very easy to talk about the peace all around the world when you never visited Bucha. It's very easy.
Mm.
Operator Starsky, I have a question. The relationship between Ukraine and Russia is similar to someone forced you at gunpoint to get married during the Soviet times. You got a divorce in the 1990s, but there's this creepy dude who's been hanging around way too long, and he just broke into your house, and you're in a gunfight to kick him out, but worse.
Yeah, the situation can be described exactly, because this is exactly the good example of what's happening. It's something like Germany 1937, for example, and Russians are Germans and Ukrainians are Jewish. Okay, it's exactly the same. And I want to see, like, what would Jews answer to people who would say, "Why can't you just be friends?"
Stop killing us, you goddamn assholes, and get the fuck out. That's what I would say.
Yeah, exactly. Why can't you just negotiate? Why can't you just meet somewhere in the concentration camp and negotiate peace with
Because
Germans?
you're fucking killing us. Let us go and get the fuck out of our lives. That's a better analogy than the creepy ex who hangs around.
Today, they hit residential building in Dnipro. Almost a year ago, they hit multiple residential buildings in Borodyanka. We had absolutely the same situation. Plenty of people died. 9/11, right? Al Qaeda strikes World Trade Centers in the U.S. And it's like saying to Americans, like, why don't you want to negotiate with Al Qaeda? Currently, it's ISIS, right? Why don't you want to negotiate peace with ISIS? Are you mad at 9/11?
Oh
Guys,
yeah, fucking mad.
it's the same. It's absolutely the same. Terrorists were bombing civilian people and killing civilian people. It's absolutely the same.
Yeah, it is 100%. We've had a couple of trolls in the live chat. So let me just make this very clear to you. If you start talking about yada yada conspiracy, blah blah, but the US and their black ops and all this other BS will kick your punk ass out as fast as you can fucking type. We're sick of it. Fuck off. All right,
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah. Don't you love that they have all the secret information? Like they got a direct feed into what's going on back there.
Don't.
They
Go
so-
and look at our history on this channel. We used to debunk flat earth and stuff.
Yeah.
Let's slap your ass back to fucking 1960 as fast as you can open your mouth. Shut up.
By the way, flat earth comes from Russia. See Putler on the side there, and it's just full of bullshit, full load. That's what the Russian propaganda.
Yeah. You know,
one time I read this conspiracy. I think it was published on the Russian website. There's a very, very big Russian website on Blogspot dedicated to revision of Holocaust. So they are trying to blame Jews for being killed in Holocaust. And one of such conspiracies is that I think in 1933, I hope I'm not wrong about this, Jewish people in probably New York, they had this huge congress when they like proclaimed a war against Hitler for being anti-Semitic and repressing Jewish people in Germany and things like that. And this is how they provoked World War II. I hope I can find this. Yeah, I hope I can find this article. It's in Russian, but basically that's what they're saying.
And that's a bunch of bullshit. I will tell you that Hitler's hatred of the Jewish people came from the altruistic morality found in the Bible, I am my brother's keeper. And Friedrich Nietzsche coined the phrase Übermensch in his book, The Antichrist. That was basically about creating a race of heartless, cold bastards.
I recall Lavrov, that depressive dying horse, also known as their foreign minister, who said that, and this conspiracy is very widespread among Russians for some reason I cannot explain, but they also believe that Hitler was Jewish, and their biggest argument is that but Jewish people are anti-Semites themselves because Hitler was no, they say like Jewish people are anti-Semites because Hitler was Jewish also, and they say that bullshit all the time.
No, Hitler was not Jewish. He just couldn't prove his Aryan heritage on, I think, his dad's side. One, but it's your mother, and yeah, you have Stephen Miller, and I'd actually say Ben Shapiro was spreading anti-Semitic bullshit when he was when he was editor in chief of Breitbart, but most Jews are not anti-Semitic.
Yeah, but the main reason we started this conversation is because people who believe in conspiracies, they suck. Okay, and I respect their right to believe in whatever they want, but they suck. Sorry.
Conspiracy theories do suck. I think it's Isaiah chapter 8, verse 12 or 13. Do not call conspiracy what this people calls conspiracy. Do not dread what they dread. The Bible says conspiracy theory bad.
Yeah. Okay, I'm looking. I just checking the time here because we didn't want to be the full 2 hours here. We're gonna go a little shorter. So let's go to Claire and then after to Dave. But pick out the last couple of questions you want to throw over to Starsky, and then we'll have little
Okay.
goodbye moments and stuff. Yeah.
All right. So from Martin Lefebvre, was great to see you on the road this week in your videos, Starsky. Also very cool to hear you speak Ukraine. Cheers, bro. In much love. In lots of hearts and flags for you from Canada. And then a message from Rudy Seal, who sends over $10 and says, "Hey everyone, I want to draw your attention to this. If you find a Starsky on social media, make sure it's him. I made a wannabe apology to me. He messaged me at work, and me being busy almost got me. I think he means that a fake account tried to do that. But as far as I know, Starsky doesn't do that kind of stuff. He's too busy with all those wonderful updates that he's putting out all the time. Right? What do you think, Starsky?
Hello, buddy. Nice to see you here. Yes, so there are multiple fake accounts of that completely mimic me, and there's one account, literally operator Starsky on Instagram, that even responds in direct messages, and this dude is reposting everything I have, like all of my publications. So please be aware, because I'm Starsky UA in all social media, on YouTube, in Twitter, in Instagram. It's Starsky UA, nothing else, not operator Starsky, not anything else. It's very important because one of those cocksuckers was scamming people and pretending he's me. And he was collecting money, supposedly to save a sick kid or something like that.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, and another one was creating some kind of contests, and again scamming people, saying, "Yoo-hoo, I'm operator Starsky, I'm giving out iPhones. Just send me money and I will give," so please be aware. Unfortunately, I don't give out iPhones. I'm not collecting money for any purpose, because I'm not a charity volunteer, unfortunately. Sometimes I do charity, but it's rare, because if you want to do charity, you gotta only do this. It takes a lot of time, and I have different missions other than this. And I never directly ask for money. It's, guys, just be aware of this. Don't get scammed.
Yeah. There's a lot of that crap on the internet these days too. And it's just such an unbelievable drag on society. But anytime that there's an opportunity for a scammer to step in, there's going to be one. It sucks, but it's true.
especially with like crypto and all of
Yes.
that.
Mhm.
Just
Yeah.
social media's doing fuck all to stop. They're making money. They're selling ads, and fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for the same reason, I never have this. People ask why I don't have super chats on my channel, and for the same reason, I never have like sponsorship, even despite the fact that plenty of marketing and PR managers contact me like every day. Today, I only had like
I
3 emails
bet.
from different studios and game developers and yada yada, but I never do that because my channel became popular because of tragedy. That's why collecting money through this is like it's inappropriate. People can voluntarily support my channel through PayPal, and that's the only thing like the only thing I can have is like voluntary donation to support my channel, and most of those money are spent on fuel and equipment for my channel. That's all. Sometimes I buy Starlinks for guys. Again, it's rare, guys.
Right.
So just be aware of scammers. There's a lot of them in the commentaries on YouTube. They're like, contact me, and they give their number that starts with +1. Guys, my number starts with +38 always,
Yeah.
because I'm in Ukraine. I'm not in the US.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Oh man.
Mm.
So yeah, looking at the time, we've got another shout out from Claire, and then I think we'll just, do our little round table at the end.
Okay. Oh, from Zong 1103. Just a reminder not to feed the trolls, but do remember to feed friends of Fudge with your donations. Thank you, Zong. Very good reminder. And on a personal note, I have to ask Starsky for a Fudge update. I mean, for everyone.
Indeed.
Fudge update. So he received some treats. I received some donation, and I've been asked to buy treats for Fudge. So I bought him 3 huge packs of treats, and
Nice.
he likes them very, very much. Every time I'm having like lunch or dinner, he's there, of course. And he begs for food, even despite the fact that his fucking plate is full of food. Yeah, but he always asks for those treats, and of course, because I cannot, control myself when he's there with his sad eyes and loving stare, I give him treats all the time.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, great update. Good to hear.
Yeah, so indeed, let's see here. We'll start with Commander 401. What do you think? A few thoughts and wrap-ups on the show, on the events and unfortunate happenstance this week. Like, whoa, rough week.
Rough week. It will get better. Hopefully by the end of the year, the Russians will be out of your country and you'll be having barbecues. Stay strong, man.
Thank you, buddy.
Good shout. What about yourself there, Dave Worley, king of fallacy calls?
Well, it's more somber than previous weeks, and obviously it's had at least a tiring effect on Starsky. We can see over the weeks now and again. We see the ebbs and flows, the roller coaster of your emotions and how you're feeling, and as such, it is coming up to the 1 year. Can we get a promise 1 month in advance to have Fooch on the channel? Can we make this happen?
I can try. So the problem is that Fudge is afraid of stairs. That's why he doesn't walk stairs much. But I will try to bring him here and have him here.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yes, we did it, guys! We did it! Yeah.
Coming your way soon. Oh, awesome. And let's hear from the cuddliest bear on YouTube, Claire.
Oh, Cutlass, thank you. I'd like to, although much of the news, the update was distressing, the war itself is. So, of course, there's going to be days like this. But just to encourage everyone to keep up the support, as much as you can, speak out, say what you can, put some pressure on your local politicians in your countries, in your local area, to keep the support going to help. And to encourage Starsky to keep taking care of himself and keep his strength up in his optimism with the Ukraine people fighting so hard. It's an actual honor to be up here with such an asset to the Ukrainian people. It's such a wonderful representative of their strength and courage. And thanks, Starsky.
Thank you.
Good show, Claire. I want to make sure everybody keeps pressure up on their politicians and so on, and urge support in every way you can. Every little bit can add up. If each person is actively doing something, the results could be unbelievable. And I sure hope for everybody in Ukraine that you're able to stay strong and get through as best you can until such day that victory is once again yours. I'm going to pass it over here to Operator Starsky for last thoughts and to take us out.
Thank you so much, bro. Well, yeah, I will try to keep you updated as much as I can. Nothing else I can do, pretty much. One of the things that we're very much concentrating our attention at is Belarus, because we expect that Russian troops will be active in that area probably around March. We know that soon Russians will launch another wave of mobilization, trying to mobilize around 500,000 people, and this year they're planning to increase their army to around 2 million people. So they are preparing for a long war that will not end this year probably. So we are looking in that direction, me specifically, because we are kind of close to Belarus. And I will keep you informed as much as I can. And thank you so much for your support.
Awesome. On that, we're done for this week's Ukraine update. Take care, everybody. Slava Ukraini. Good night out there.
Slava.
Good night, all. Good night.
It's over. Go home.
Okay, super chat from Darigia for 24 pounds last minute with a big hug and an angel symbol. I'm assuming for Starsky and the Ukraines. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Good night, everybody. Take care out there. This is the
I nearly
final
went a
button.
whole stream without calling Claire a bitch. Oh, fuck. Oh, God.
Okay, I'm ending
Oh,
it.
you pathetic bastard. Oh, my